Yeah, thanks. Coming out.
Okay. Is it all right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So I think we have Ratna who has joined this training today. Hi, Ratna.
Hi, Simar.
So we were just discussing some of the doubts that we had from our last training session because we're going to start with that first and then we'll proceed further. So apart from Vasu who has asked question on Portile, he is facing some issue. Anybody else has any sort of question, query, comment? Because I need to share few updates with you and I'll be asking few questions as well. So before that, I would like to ask you guys that if you have any question, any clarification, any doubt, please feel free.
So this is Ashwini. I just wanted to have one input. So when we are discussing the project charter, developing the project charter, there is also a common framework that can be developed for the future projects. So like we can put in a framework as to how to decide for future Six Sigma projects, a common charter for the entire organization. So if we could discuss that, that would be very helpful.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I was not able to hear you properly. There was some voice breaking in between. Can you please
Okay.
repeat your question again?
Yeah. So while we are developing, let's say, a project charter, we could also develop a framework that can be utilized to identify future Six Sigma projects. So a common, rule of thumbs with which we can judge the future projects. Like, okay, so these all, it has got these particular values. This project has these particular values, so this is a good candidate for a Six Sigma project. So kind of like that. So,
Okay, so I got your question,
mhm.
Ashwini. So what you're saying is while we are doing the project charter exercise or a business case exercise, probably we can discuss as a team that what are the different projects that we as a team can go for, or we as an individual should go for.
Uh, yeah, yeah, that and along with that, while developing the project charter, we'll get to know, okay, these are the reasons for which we are selecting this particular project. So if we can, generalize it so that it can be utilized for selecting future process. So we don't have to repeat the entire process again and again for, let's say, the next Six Sigma project and all that. So we can just say, okay, these projects also have these features, so these are good candidates
Okay.
for Six Sigma projects.
Okay. So I would like to hold my thoughts to myself and would like to ask the remaining set of the people who are there on the call. What do you think? Can we do that? Do you think it is worthwhile doing it?
I don't know what is the question actually.
Anybody else would like to give a try? Would like to share his or her comment whether we should follow this technique or not?
Can you please repeat again, Simar? I'm not able to catch.
Not able to follow the question. What exactly is the question?
Okay, just give me a second. Just
Simar, Preet, if you can please summarize the question. Yeah.
So what Ashwini is saying is that when we do the project charter exercise, at that point in time, if we can discuss what all things, what all are the reasons why this project has, so that when we do that actual project, we would not face that kind of an issue.
What
That's
kind of
what I.
issue?
no. Okay, so let me rephrase it. So
Yeah.
while we are developing a project charter, we'll have a number of projects. Let's say project A, B, C, and D, out of which we are choosing a project
So
and
opportunities.
creating a
Okay.
project charter.
Okay.
Okay, so while we are selecting a project, we can discuss about having a common guidelines which can be used for which can be reused by the organization for selecting the future. So a future black belt project. So Does that make sense? Because that will make it easier for us also for selecting the next project as well.
Ashwini, I don't think when we select any sort of project, it depends on Lean or Six Sigma. The project is chosen because there's a need to do something, and that's why there's a project. So project is
Yes.
based on the objective. So when you're saying that the company can later go on and have a framework or guidelines so that it can be reused in the future, that is a very, very specific scenario on what situation or what guidelines are we focusing on. What I believe is whenever, like when I was involved in the opportunity discussion, like out of 5 projects, which one should go forward and which one should be hold, or which one should not be taken forward based on the ROI and NPV and liquidity and everything. So what all things which we only majorly focused on, what was the returns in terms of the end result, as in not the Lean Six Sigma, because that's just a methodologies to have a improved quality. So of course, if the project is based on quality improvement, then yes, we can think about that. But other than that, I am not sure that we can have a standard guidelines employed for certain things. That's just an opinion. Yeah.
Okay.
I just have one question, not on this particular point. So we are going to cover Define today, where we will be discussing about the project charter and everything, right? This is not yet discussed in the session.
Yes, it's
just
not yet discussed. Yeah, it's not yet
Yeah,
discussed. It's
yeah.
just
So,
yeah.
so yeah, it will be better that if we, at least have a idea on the topics from Simmerpreet, and then we get into an advanced discussion. Then I believe everybody will be in a position to,
Answer that. Yeah.
answer that or participate, and then we can all debate or think about it. Just my suggestion, like.
Yeah.
First, we need to understand what is the Six Sigma and what is the course covers and what is the subject.
So once Simmerpreet has covered the points, then we can go for this advanced topic discussions, like what Ashwini is suggesting on this particular topic. We will be in a more knowledge level to actually go ahead and discuss on this.
Makes sense.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, so we are going to have the discussion for Project Charter in today's session only, and there probably we can make a call whether to discuss this in the detail or not. But yes, the topic which is supposed to be discussed, we will have that discussion on that first, and then if time permits, we will definitely have that as well. So I was just asking about the doubts that you have. So I think I haven't got any response from anybody. So first, it means that everything which we discussed is crystal clear to everybody. Everybody is very, very confident on what we discuss. So if you are not asking me any question, then let me ask you questions. So let's see, this is a kind of a knowledge.
Simmerpreet, I have a doubt on the quartile formula, what you have shared in the PPT. You are saying Q1 is equal to N plus 1 divided by 4, right?
Yeah.
So what is this N? Is it the value of the numbers what we take the sum of this, or it is a total serial number we have to add it? And what is the N denotes?
So I think this is probably which needs to be updated, and that's my mistake, because I know why this question is coming. Because earlier when we used to cover the green belt or the yellow belt training, we were telling these formula to everybody. But since we have access to all the tools right now, and therefore we have different graphical tools as well. So that's why we have got rid of this. But yes, from a concept standpoint, if you want to know, N is the number of observations that we have. So if, for example, if you have 12 observations, okay, then 12 plus 1 is 13, and then you divide it by 4, okay?
Right.
And then basis that observation that you get, then there is another formula which needs to be calculated, which is not mentioned here. But that's why I always focus because for calculating quartiles, it is little complicated if you do it manually. So therefore, we have kind of discussed and agreed that while calculating quartiles, because most of people get confused, and that's the reason we don't get into it. Explaining standard deviation is quite simple, because that's what we've been doing a lot of times. That's the reason I've used the formula. But calculating quartile, something becomes little complicated and confusion to a lot of people. So I would take that off from the slide and replace it with the formula that we discussed, which is an Excel formula, quartiles, the entire range, followed by 1, 2, 3, and 4. So just focus on that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a few questions just to understand, because last time we had a good discussion on this topic. Can someone tell me the difference between DMADV and DFSS? DMADV and DFSS.
DMADV is for a new business process. When we are starting freshly a business process, then we consider the DMDAV.
Okay.
And DFSS is for the existing process where we want to have an improvement in the sigma level, then we use this DFSS.
Would you like to elaborate more about DFSS as well? I think your understanding is clear, which I am confident. But can you say a few more examples, a few more things about DFSS? Maybe this question is for everyone.
Should I try, Sibyl?
Yes, yes.
So DFSS basically is for the mature processes, processes wherein we are nearing Six Sigma, that they're running smoothly. These processes specifically have a high cost involved. So automation is one thing that we consider in DFSS a lot, and this has a high cost of business as well. So that's what my understanding is if you want to consider DFSS.
Okay. Anybody else want to add, remove to what he said? Anything which you think should have been mentioned? Are we good?
Sorry.
No, please go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think one point was that we discussed that the processes which have already got Six Sigma and they are going for further improvement. So those processes, like he mentioned, on the matured processes. So that's all.
So do we say that the project or processes have already reached Six Sigma, or the processes who have reached near Six Sigma?
Close to.
Near Six
Sigma.
Near Six Sigma.
Near Six Sigma.
Not
Very close to
not
Six Sigma. Yeah.
So it's more over wherein we are now looking for the RP or automation, and not the basic ones wherein we can use the DMAC and help improve the process. Maybe we have just worked around all those options, and now we are moving towards automation or looking for further improvement through automation.
Yeah.
Also, for these projects, we look at projects which have got a very high cost of failure.
Yeah.
So where failure is not an option, we go for DFSS.
Great. What is the similar? That's the next question. So I think first question, the answer is perfect. I think we as a group have answered it. The second question that I have is, what is the similarity between DFSS and DMADV?
Both are redesigns of the process.
Okay. So in both the methodologies, the design is new. Okay. And when we are saying the design is new, which means that we are trying to come up with a re-engineering sort of view, wherein we would not work on the entire existing design. It is altogether a new design. So that's a similarity between DFSS and DMADV. Okay. My third question for all of you is that when we talk about Six Sigma as a problem-solving methodology, there are two variables that plays a very, very important role. Okay. Can someone tell me what are those variables and which is an output and which is an input variable?
So we consider two variables here, Simar. One is Y, which is your problem statement.
Yeah.
And then you have the X's, which is a factor impacting your Y.
Okay.
So
problem, causes, and function.
Absolutely. So which is an output and which is an input?
So the problem is the output. So Y as a dependent variable is the output, and X is the underlying root cause, and it's the independent variable here.
Yeah.
So Y would be the independent.
Great,
Y is
great,
the
I think-
problem and
Right, that's
XF is the
correct. Y
problem.
is the output and X would be the inputs.
Yes, yes.
Great.
Yeah. So Y is the problem and X is the cause of the problem.
Yeah, that is input.
We're going good so far. I think we have answered all the questions correctly. Okay, now I have a few questions on the central tendency. I think majority of the doubts were coming from there only when we started with the doubt session. What are the measures of central tendency?
Mean, mode, median.
Mean, median, and mode.
Mean, median, and mode. Okay. Between mean and median, which is the one which is impacted by extreme values?
Mean is impacted by extreme
Yeah.
values.
Mean is not impacted by extreme values. Median is.
Mean is impacted by
The other way around. Mean as an average is going to be impacted by extreme values, whereas
Extreme
median
values.
is just
Oh
the,
yeah, median doesn't. Yeah.
it's just the middle point of all the values that we have. So
Right. Mean gets impacted.
Median
because
is
it's the
impacting.
average. Mean is the average, so it would get impacted by the extreme values.
In values.
Median is impacting with extreme value.
Okay, please share. Let's hear it from him. Let's hear it from Vasu. Why do you think median gets impacted by extreme value?
Median means impacting, means we need to arrange all the process. I just want to check. I will tell you.
Can I say something?
Take mean
Yes.
of that, right? Arranging
Yeah, yeah.
all the data.
So arranging all the data. Okay.
And then-
arranging all the data in ascending or a descending order. Okay.
Yes,
That is
and
fine.
taking
That-
the mid values and taking mean of that. So, and mean
Yeah.
is very as simple average getting the data. So
Okay.
median is more impacting them.
No, we're not saying which is more impactful or which is not more impactful. The question is, out of mean or median, which of these two measures is impacted if there's any extreme value? Value means any value which is higher than what is expected at the moment. Okay. So I would just like to share my screen and probably then you would be able to answer it properly. Just give me a second. So I have certain values. Can you all see my screen? Is it visible?
yes.
Yeah.
So I'm just making some data here. Okay. So now I have, so if I want to calculate the mean of this particular data set, I will just go ahead and take the average out of it. So this is my mean. I want to calculate the median out of it. I can just use the median formula. Okay. So now I can see the mean and median are very, very close to each other, 12.5 and 13. Okay. Now the moment I put some extreme value means the value which is pretty higher than what we can see here. If I put 50 here, okay, which is an extreme value. Okay. Now if I want to calculate the mean out of it, okay, so mean here is 14.5. If you want to calculate median here, it remains the same. So now you see an addition of 50 in a given observation, which is a kind of an extreme value, because earlier you see the value was between 10 to 15, okay, 12, 10, and now the moment the extreme values come into the data, you see the mean has increased from 12.5 to 14.5. However, median remains the same because median is calculated on the positional value, which is the central value. It doesn't matter how many extreme value comes into the picture, median will not get impacted. Because mean is a simple average. Likewise, if you spend 10,000 rupees every month for the next 5 months, okay, which means, and the moment you start spending 50,000 in one particular month, your average from 10,000 will improve from 10,000 to maybe 15 or 20,000. But if you calculate the median, it will not get impacted because it has not taken the simple average. It has just taken the middle value, maybe the middle value which is being there in a given data set. Is it clear to you now?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why if there are any extreme values in the data, in that particular case, we do not consider mean as a measure of central tendency. Then we consider median as a measure of central tendency. If there are no extreme values in the data, if there are values which are pretty much constant, then in that case, average or mean is the best measure of central tendency. Is it clear to you?
Yes, yes.
Wonderful. So my next question is, which is the best method for calculating variance when it comes to mean?
Standard deviation.
Standard deviation, okay. And what is the best measure of variance when it is median?
Quartile.
Quartiles. Why don't we take range instead of standard deviation? What is the difference between considering range and standard deviation while taking measure of dispersion or measure of variance?
In
So
a
range,
sorry.
Range does not give us a good picture of overall spread, right? It's more of a difference between the maximum and the minimum value.
Okay.
It doesn't give us a picture of the central tendency at all. So whether the central tendency is at 50 or 5,000, the range the range will not give us like a good picture of where it stands. It will just give a maximum minus minimum.
the two extreme observations that we have in the entire data set. So it is only taking into consideration the two extreme observations, the max and min.
However, in standard deviation, we focus on each and every value that we have, whether it's an extreme
Yes,
value
and how far it is from the mean.
and how far it is from mean. Absolutely. So well done. Because when we calculate the standard deviation, we focus it from the mean, not from the extreme values. Great. So I think by now everybody has understood the measure of central tendency. We have understood what is the relation between Y and X. We also understand the different methodologies which we use in Six Sigma, DMADV, DMAC, DFSS, and we have also understood the definition of Six Sigma as well. So now, before we start with the new topic today, I just want to give you certain updates. So I had a discussion with the Henry Harvin team on the certifications, wherein most of you were asking that we just don't want to go for the test kind of a certification. We want to go for a project certification. So those who haven't heard or understood properly, I just want to start from the scratch. So after completion of this training, so we will complete our training on 18th of July.
Simar, just sorry to interrupt. Are you sharing your screen here? I'm not able to see it. Are you sharing?
No. I'm just sharing sharing a gyan here, not anything at the moment. And this is an update. So the update says, so last time a lot of you asked that, we are very much interested in doing projects. We just don't want to focus only on the test. So the update here is, on 18th of July, if the schedule remains the same, we would be able to complete a black belt training. After this training, you all will be eligible for the black belt certification. I'm saying eligible, okay? So you would have probably 1 week or 2 weeks time to discuss as a group that when do we want to go for a certification, because I would not take certification or test from you separately. So all of us have to come on a same date and same timing. So we all can discuss as a team that when do we want to go for a black belt test. So let's say we all concluded that on 25th, which is 1 week later, we want to go for a Six Sigma test. Okay, and upon passing criteria for that test, you would be called as black belt certified by Henry Harvin. So that would be only test. But if anybody wants to go for a project kind of a certificate, clearly call out that he has done a project, then in that case, after completion of the training, you can get in touch with the team who have enrolled you. the person who, because we offer one dummy project every month. So in a year's time, you would have access to kind of 12 projects if you want to pick one project every year. Okay, which means that after this training, you still have a refresher trainings or any doubt session for the next 1 year, maybe from July 20 to July 21. And in that between so you will have 2 hours counseling every month. In that period, you'll be able to discuss your projects, you'll be able to identify your projects. And upon completion of that, you would get your Six Sigma Black Belt project certification as well. So that's the criteria for going for the project certification, which all of you are eligible, but you need to clear the test first. So if you clear the test, you become a Black Belt certified, then you can go for a Black Belt project certification as well.
Okay, so Simar, if I understood it correctly, so once we do appear for the exam, right, the test, and we clear it, we would be certified as Black Belt from Henry Harbin, and then we'll have this 1 year period available with us, wherein we can pick up any one project and work on it and clear it, right? And then probably you can just assess it, and then you will be certifying us again a Black Belt basis the project. Am I right?
Absolutely. And just to add, in these 12 months, you can have access to not only one project. If you want to do multiple projects also, we would give you that kind of support as well. So you can do as much project as you can in these 12 months.
Okay. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, so Simranpreet, the project is something which is not a mandatory one for the certification. For the certification, the test exam is mandatory, right?
So Remy, the answer is correct. It is an optional kind of a stuff. So likewise, we were also discussing on Friday when I was recommending you and Piyush that you should go for a certification, where you said that I'm also working on a couple of projects. So this is an extensive support which we are providing. You would become Black Belt certified after completing the test also. It is not mandate, but since, as I said, you will be looked up as a Black Belt project certified in the near future, because if you would have access to project, you would be looked at that somebody who has implemented these principles practically in their day-to-day life also. So that's how your weightage, your significance would be higher. So because as per the trend that we have, only 40 to 50%, I think it's 50-50, I would say, go for the second option as well. That for that you don't have to pay anything. It is kind of a free offer that which you have for everyone.
More of we need to invest our time, right? It has to be more of efforts from our side. And Sima, just one last question here. So will it be applicable for only the dummy projects that Henry Harbin would be sharing, or I can offer any project from within my organization that I might have to work upon, and I'll be able to get the assistance on the same from your side?
So if you want to do any project of yours also, wherein you have some live data, wherein you need some counseling, some help on it, hands on it, we would be providing that kind of an expertise also.
Okay, then that's really great. That would work really fine for us.
Yeah, Simranpreet, sorry.
No, go ahead, Atman. Go ahead. I'm done.
Yeah. Thanks, sir. And Simranpreet, one more thing, like when you said about the exam, so when I enrolled, I had a word with Manish on this, and he said that so once the last session is done, from then in about 2 weeks onwards, you can write the exam. However, there is no hard and fast fixed rule that you have to take the exam along with the entire batch or on a fixed particular day or date. You can take it on your own, time. So if I want to say write the exam in a month or 2 months, I can do that. Yeah, it is not to be dependent on any other team members.
Yeah, so let's take all this FAQ regarding exam at some other point of time, because right now I'm in a mood to study. So all these questions like FAQs, even I have so many. So we can have a lot of discussion on WhatsApp groups, and that's why we have all those. Can we just shift the whole attention to the class for some time, so that at least we could learn something before we think of exam? Just for now, I mean, if that's okay with everybody. Like exam is the later part after the training. So can we just plan how are we going to take the questions around exams? Simar, please help us on that. Hello.
I think Simar we disconnected. So we'll
Yeah. So
wait for him
just
to join.
yeah. So let's just discuss quickly that can we have all of us can have an alignment on all these questions. Like how are we going to have how will we get all these things discussed? Like we want to get it done during the classes, or shall we just?
Yeah, actually, we have got the WhatsApp group. So
Yeah, that's what.
we discussed
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
And
that's what.
just to cut it short, also I think the flexibility for the exam is something that we can work with Manish on it, right? And maybe Simar would not be the right person for it. So that is something we should be better able to answer. And right now, Ratna is correct. We can just focus on what we are here for, and just because it's already one, right, that we have joined in, and we haven't started with the agenda for today.
Yeah, that's what.
I agree.
Focus on that.
But because he had it as a special announcement and he wanted to discuss this,
Point taken.
so that's why I believe this discussion sort of took place. That was his announcement I wanted to make to all of us.